Hey guys, welcome back to day 19, and this is the exciting part where we're actually going to set up our group boards within Boardboosters. So we're going to do something called a scheduled campaign. So I'm just going to do a full walkthrough and take you through how to do it. So first thing you want to do is log into your Boardboosters dashboard. You want to make sure as well that your account has got plenty of pins. If you've already signed up for an account, great. If not, you'll probably need to do that unless you're still on your free trial. Now, first thing you want to do is go to your account in the top right hand corner and go to account settings, and you want to make sure your duplicate controls are set, so 30 and 30, and also if you've added any new boards into your Pinterest profile, just hit refresh boards here. It'll take probably a couple of minutes and then just hit save. And what that's going to do is it's just going to update your profile and look at all of your new boards. Now what we're then going to do is go to pin tools and go on to campaigns. Now campaigns, inside here you'll have different campaigns. So I've got 28 pin sourcing campaigns for my 28 boards and 5 scheduled campaigns. So the scheduled campaigns are what we're going to set up today. Now I've got a couple of scheduled campaigns I've already set up, but I'll show you the process of how to do it. So first of all, we want to just go into one of my scheduled campaigns just to show you how it works. So you can tell the difference. A pin sourcing campaign, if you hover over it, it'll tell you it's a pin sourcing. It has that cloud with a downwards pin. A scheduled campaign looks like a calendar. You hover over it, it'll tell you it's a scheduled campaign. So let's just go into this one here, blogging. And in a scheduled campaign, you can call the campaign name whatever you like. And you want to create your campaigns based on the group boards that you're in. So a lot of my group boards are to do with blogging, and some are about making money. So I'm going to have separate campaigns which are one to do with blogging, one to do with making money. And basically what you do is when you create a campaign, on certain days it's going to pin that blog post into different boards. So essentially what's going to happen here is this, when you create a campaign, is going to make a source board. Now the source board for this campaign is currently set to blogging, but we're actually going to change it to blogging for beginners. Where is it? It's not in there right now. We're going to add that in later. So essentially what's going to happen is on the Pinterest profile, we've got a board. So let's just show you. And when you create a scheduled campaign for the first time, and I'll just show you now, you go new campaign and you want to go to a scheduled campaign. Whatever you call that scheduled campaign, so let's call it Make Money 1, and we want it to repin into one of my group boards, which is going to be Make Money in Social Media. And add that in. On day 1 of this Make Money board, it's going to pin to Make Money in Social Media. Now when I save that, it's going to connect to the server, and Pinterest is going to create a secret board, just the same as what we've got in this one. If I can get Pinterest to load. Let's try this one. Okay. So in the Pinterest profile, under boards, what Boardboosters is doing right now is creating a secret board called Make Money 1. So if we go down to our secret boards, you can see Boardboosters has already made a couple of secret boards for those campaigns. So what would happen is any pins that we dropped into the secret campaign, Boardboosters would then go about putting that pin that goes into the secret board into each of the group boards in the schedule. So essentially I could drop 5 pins in here, and then it will drop them in a schedule. So the first day it will go into this one, the next day it will do the next pin into this one, and vice versa and vice versa. So to make it a little bit easier to explain, I've created a Boardbooster schedule just to make the process a little bit easier. So essentially what we'll do is, the first thing we'll do is we'll find a URL for a pin. So let's just find one. Let's do this one. So blog niche ideas might be the post URL, and then for that URL, I might have a number of different versions, which I do, because if you hit pin here, it's going to show you we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 different types of boards there. So depending which board I use, there's 7 different pins. Now, what you want to do is when you're doing an automated campaign, one of these pins you want to keep for manual pinning, and the other 5 you want to automate. So you might find that I keep this pin here for manual pinning, and I'll pin that to a specific board, and then I'll manually pin it across. And then the other pins, what we'll do is we'll drop those pins directly into that group board. So let's just set this up now. So self-blogging 1 general, blogging 1 beginner tips. So what happens is this is the source board, blogging 1 general, and on the page now, let's say I wanted to put one of these ones into that source board. I would hit save, I would pin it to that secret board, which is this one. I would hit save, and what would then happen is Boardboosters will then see that that's gone into that board, and on that day, if it's before 10 AM, which it is now, it will take that pin and it will pin it into blogging for beginners, and that's on day 1. So that pin gets dropped in here on today, which is the 24th of May, and it goes in there. Now, what happens if I pin 6 pins into that board at once? Well, what happens is Boardboosters creates a schedule. So today, it's going to pin the first pin into blogging for beginners. And then tomorrow, it's going to take the next pin and it's going to do it in blogging for beginners. But also at the same time, the first pin is going to go onto the day 2 board. And then on day 3, the third pin that's in the schedule will go into blogging for beginners. The first pin is going to go into set up a blog, and the second pin is going to go make money in social media. So it's going to gradually have them going through the cycle. So what happens once you run out of pins? Well, nothing. It just doesn't load any new pins into day 1. So essentially what you can do is you can drop 6 pins at once, and you can work out when each of the pins are going to start in the campaign. And if it's a 13-day campaign, we know that this one in 13 days time, so if it's the 24th now, 7, 14, so on the 6th of June, we know that that campaign will have finished. So that pin will then be in all of these group boards, and every day it will have gone through a cycle. It will have gone on that one on the first day, that one on the second day, that one on the third day, and it will automatically be pinned across. So that's how it works. Now what we can then see is we know that this blogging for beginners board on the 30th is not going to have any pins pinned into it. So by that stage, I might want to have my next URL ready and the next 6 versions of that pin ready to go into that board. Now when we're starting off brand new as a brand new blogger, we don't have a lot of posts. So that's the reason we want to make multiple versions. So as we're starting this right now, if we've got 5 posts ready, we should have up to 30 pins ready to go into a pin sourcing campaign. Now 30 pins is a month's worth of pinning, and after 30 days you can start to pin into the same group boards again. So it gives you a good sort of amount of variety to get out in there. Now there's a couple of things you'll need to have for this to be successful. So the first thing is lots of pins, which is blog content. The second thing is lots of group boards. So what I would suggest is to set up your campaigns based by your niche. So if, for example, I have blogging boards, I'm going to want to make a blogging campaign. If I have a make money board, then I'm going to want to have a make money campaign. If I've got a bullet journal or a DIY board, then I'm going to want to create a DIY campaign. And you want to make your campaigns really clear so that you know what it's going to be posted into. Now, the other thing that you want to do with these campaigns is that you don't want them to go to a secret board. So once you set it up, it's going to automatically create a secret board. So that one I just then made, the Make Money one. If we go on to my Pinterest profile now, I'll just show you down the bottom here. It's going to have created a secret board called Make Money somewhere. It's in here somewhere. Or I might not have made it yet. So when it creates that board, you're creating a secret board. But what we actually want to do is, instead of putting our pins from our blog into a secret board and Pinterest then pinning them into these group boards, we actually want to make that secret board a public board. And we want that public board to have relevant keywords. So we've already been making our group boards, that's these here. Our regular boards. But now for this pin sourcing campaign, instead of these having third-party pins, we want to have a particular board which has got only our pins in. So this Blogging for Beginners board here, this is going to be my source board for my campaign here. So what that means is, if I create a new pin and it's about blogging, I'm going to drop it into the Blogging for Beginners board. As soon as it drops in there, Boardboosters is then going to send it out into these different group boards. And it's important that this board has good keywords so that it becomes popular within Pinterest. And what will happen is, because these pins in this board are going to go across into a whole variety of group boards, they're going to get a lot of repins. Pinterest is going to see that this board is becoming very popular because there's a lot of repins. And that's the reason we want this board to be public, because if it's a secret board, Pinterest doesn't associate that with our account. So I hope that makes sense. So let's just recap that really quickly. So first thing you want to do is go onto a new campaign and create a schedule campaign. You can call it whatever you like. You can add in your group boards that you want it to pin to. You can set what day. So if you haven't got that many boards, you might want to do it over a couple of days. So your first one will go in on day 1, and let's say it goes out at 10 a.m. And then your second pin, which will go to this board, this next board, you might want to do on the 3rd day. And that way, if you haven't got many group boards or many pins, you're not going to run out of pins to go out on your schedule. So you fill out that campaign, you create whatever you want to call it, you hit save, and Pinterest will then create a secret board. So that's what we just did for this one here. Oops, sorry, not that one, it was this one. Now, once you've created that secret board, so this campaign repins all new pins from the secret board to the schedule below, you want to hit advanced settings down here, hit that refresh button, and what will happen is Boardboosters will then look at your Pinterest profile and find all the new boards, and you just pick a new board. So what we want to do is we want to set that board to this new public board that we're going to create. And in this public board, it's really important that you only pin your own pins, because that's what Boardboosters is then going to put out into the group boards. So that's how it's going to work. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. So we're going to create these campaigns. It's going to take any pins that we put into these boards, and it's going to put them automatically into our group boards gradually across the coming days. And that's how we use Boardboosters to automate our own pins. So this is a bit more of a complicated process. It sounds confusing. Once you've done it and you've started to do it for the first couple of times, it gets a lot simpler. But if you do have any questions, either just hit reply in my email, or take your time looking through this and playing around with it, and you'll begin to get a feel for how this works.